Hello again and welcome to another edition of Prep Football Tonight, sponsored by National Scouting Report. Now, we are coming off a bye week in the Tubetown Rivalry Series, so we needed the break, but we're also coming off what may have been the best game we have broadcast since the West Side at Truman game from a year ago. Catholic at Jonesboro lived up to the hype. We got our first trip to Cooksey John Stadium, and we got to see an amazing athlete in Catholic's Sammy Johnson. But was it enough for his Rockets to blast through the Hurricanes? Let's not wait any longer for these highlights. We've waited almost 2 weeks for these highlights, so let's see how it all went down. Catholic and Jonesboro.
The Hurricane, 10 men in the box, fourth down coming up. Handoff up the middle, a big hole to run through at the 10, the 5, and the Rockets are going to draw first blood. Very talented tight end, running wide open down the middle, but unable to connect. Now Christopher Elzer on to kick a long field goal. It is up, and it is three wide receivers and a tight end, and that's Bibbs actually on the handoff, trying to find the edge. He's got it. He's at the 40. He's at the 45, 50, 45, 40, the far side, 35, 30, still running. And final out, as Casey just said, could have provided the spark. Play action coming up. Aycock throwing it in the end zone. Got a man. Caught in the back of the end zone. Touchdown. Not quite 50 yards. Be about 37. Hold is good. The kick is up. And it's through the uprights. Those are a couple guys they really want to try and get the ball to tonight. Tyson Williams on third and short. Throws it over the middle. Caught by Bibbs at the 50. Foot race to the finish, and he's going to score. Jamarcus Bibbs. Excuse me. Tight end. Handoff up the middle. It's Johnson. Johnson's across the 35, the 30. One man left to beat. Stutter step. He's at the 5. Touchdown. He shook the First and 10 under center. Handoff to Johnson, running to his left. He's got a lot of room to work with. He's found an edge across the 50, and he has gone to the house, folks. Not catching Sammy Johnson, the junior tailback for Catholic. Unbelievable. Catholic going to go for 2 and try and tie it now. Jake James under center, rolling out to his right. Tosses it to Johnson. Incomplete. Tried to get a little pass out to the flats on their 2-point conversion, and it was incomplete. So Jonesboro again hanging on by 2. This kick taken at the 1-yard line. Across the 15 to the 20, and Jerrion Green has found some room on the far sideline. He's across the 40, still on his feet, working his way back to the middle of the field. Spins at the 45, finally stopped. Presence of mind to switch carrying hands. You saw him switch over in the middle of that. This time it's Daniel Johnson getting the handoff. He's at the 5-yard line, spinning, carrying one defender. Is he into the end zone? He is. Bit long, so we'll see if they can score here with 52 seconds left in the third. 3 wide receivers set. It's a handoff up the middle, running to the right. A lot of running room for Bibbs. Bibbs across the 30, now the 40. He's a foot race to midfield, and he's down to the 45-yard line. And Jake James back in at quarterback, tosses it out to Johnson. Johnson's at the 40 with plenty of room to work with. Still on his feet, he's at the 40. I don't know how he wizarded his way through the tackle. Still on his feet, he's at the 15, the 10, the 5. An unbelievable Sammy Johnson. One timeout. James takes the snap, fires over the middle. Caught at the 40, the 45, still on his feet at the 50, but he lost the football. Jonesboro has got it. The Hurricane recover. Coach Randy Colby. Hand off to Bibbs to end the game, and why not?
Sammy Johnson had over 200 total yards against Jonesboro, including that 60-yard catch and run. That is a Tubetown Play of the Year worthy candidate right there. Adam Shepard had a late catch and run that would have given the Rockets and their rocket leg kicker, Chris Elser, a shot for the win. Unfortunately for Catholic, you saw Jerrion Green of Jonesboro knock the ball away and seal the deal for Coach Coleman and the Hurricanes. Great performance by Tyson Williams, A.J. Aycock, Daniel Johnson, Jamarcus Bibbs, Jake Slayton, the entire Hurricane squad. Jonesboro defeats Catholic 28-26.
The Catholic versus Jonesboro game is now our highest viewed game of the year. And we encourage all of the schools on the Tubetown Rivalry Series schedule, hype your game. Hype the fact that it's being televised and live streamed from your campus. We want to see your signs in the crowd. Let's have everybody watching. Even if you're at the game, pull out your phone. You can check out the instant replays while you're sitting there in the stands. I want to see which game will end the 2017 Tubetown Rivalry Series as the highest watched game. Now, if you or your business would like to be a part of the Rivalry Series, or, hey, we've got some great early season basketball tournaments coming up, give us a call, 870-336-2317. Email us, tubetown@rittercommunications.com, or hit us up on social media. Now, before we dive into this week's Rivalry Series matchup, Highland at Brookland, let's take a moment and take an inside look at National Scouting Report, our great sponsor here on Prep Football Tonight.
Now guess what? Y'all are fixing to find out what energy is all about. I am a firm believer in weight training, strength and conditioning, and improving yourself physically and setting yourself apart from the rest of the world. You can be a good athlete or you can be an elite athlete. And it is a mindset. It is a lifestyle. The ones that set themselves apart are the ones who are willing to sacrifice and dedicate their lives to this goal. My grades don't matter. If they want me, they'll come get me. My grades don't matter. I'm gonna get in. Don't you believe that? This coach is going to look at you and say, hey, we're going to look at his film, we're going to see if he can play at our level. If he's a linebacker, we're going to see if he feels downhill, okay? If he hits with his eyes up, if he shoots his hands. If he's an offensive lineman, can he step, okay? Does he use his hands good? Got good hips, flexibility. Does he reload his hips, okay? If he's a defensive back, does he open up in the coverage? Does he run the alley? Does he hit like a freight train? If he's a wide receiver, soft hands, good hands, gets open. Second level gear, if he's a running back, great vision, sees the hole, hits the hole, gets north and south. If he's a quarterback, throws in tight windows, throws the great deep ball, throws a good out route, deep out route, has every throw, big arm, smart, doesn't make mistakes, protects the ball, wins game. These are the evaluations you get. If you want to go to the Division I level, that's only 1.5% of 100 people. If you want to go to the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac-12, or the ACC, the big conferences, that's 0.5%. That's rare air. National Scouting Report is the nation's oldest and most respected scouting organization in the world. We've been doing this since 1980. We started this. I'm one of y'all. I'm one of y'all. I was y'all's age, wanting to go play college football. And that's what I do. I help get you there.
That footage was from the 2016 NSR Blitz Combine held at the campus of this week's Tubetown Rivalry Series matchup host, the Brookland Bearcats. We caught up with Larry Perrin of NSR earlier in the week, and we start the conversation talking about West Tennessee football and those Mumford Cougars. Here is National Scouting Report's Larry Perrin.
Well, you know, Mumford ran into a Ridgeway team that stepped up and gave them a game, and Ridgeway pulled away there in the end, 38-32. That was kind of surprising. I really thought Mumford would handle them the way Mumford has run, you know, up until that point. You know, they beat some teams like Bolton, beat them 41-0. The First Assembly Christian, you know, they hung 70 on them. So Mumford has been rolling. Nathan Davenport and Chaz Hayes and those guys on the offensive side have been putting up big numbers. And then the defensive line and offensive line is controlling the game again with T.J. Scott and some of those guys. And then, you look at Cole Edgerton from Mumford, the free safety back there. He's just making plays all over the field. And so, I was really surprised with that Ridgeway score. And talking to those families, they didn't see it coming either. But they better rebound from it. They better learn how to right the ship, because guess what? They got Southwind this weekend, and Southwind's loaded as usual, a typical Southwind team. And so Mumford better step up and play their game, which is ball control, keeping Southwind offense off the field, and controlling the clock. And if they do that and let their offensive and defensive lines take over, I don't think they'll have a problem handling Southwind.
Now we have another special athlete in Northeast Arkansas, and he plays for Truman High. I call him the monster among men, but his name is Cade Gartman. Let's hear Larry's thoughts on Gartman and other area athletes.
We get to see this young man every week, and we've seen him now for 3 years. But Cade Gartman from Truman High School is one of the top athletes in the state of Arkansas. He got the Yarnell's Play of the Week this week with a run against Pocahontas, where he just absolutely manhandled those guys going in for the score. Cade is a determined young man. He is a hard worker. What makes him an interesting young person is he's also, they went to the national championships in the high school fishing tournaments this year. So, he's a well-rounded young man. He's going on visits to Division I college this week. So, he's getting some looks and getting some opportunities. He's going to have visits lined up pretty much the rest of the season to other schools. So it's kind of exciting to know that Cade Gartman's starting to get the recognition that he deserves. This young man has been putting up monster numbers for the last 2 years, and he's not looking to change that now. He just keeps adding to them. But Truman just manhandled Pocahontas, and Truman is looking very strong in the 3-4A right now, setting up a kind of a collision course with Gosnell. Gosnell kind of got their ship right this week, over Brookland. Gosnell started off the season on 0-3, and that's not typical Gosnell, but they got some people back and got healthy. And when they're healthy and they can control the clock, the double wing's hard to handle when you got the athletes like Gosnell has. Brookland, though, did show some great promise in that game. They kept fighting. They didn't give up. Reed Lane and Devin Sloan and Dallin O'Donohue, those guys on the offensive side really kept battling to the end. And you look over on the defensive side, you look at Chase Dalton Young Jr. over there playing cornerback, had a great interception on a long ball, and then had a pick six in his hands, just slipped through his hands, but he played really well. Rudy Gilliam, the defensive end, the big 6'6" defensive end from Brookland, played very well, and they just kind of Gosnell just mixed it up and got on the edge with some plays and then hit some deep passes and took advantage of the athletes that they had to roll over Brookland this week.
Now, we are seeing some schools that have been struggling as of late really step up in 2017, and some schools that are usually playoff contending teams every year take a step backwards. We wanted to get Larry's take on some of those early season surprises.
This has been a unique year. If you looked at things on paper, if you looked at Hooten's magazine beginning of the year, the favorites are slipping a little bit, and some of the second level teams are stepping to the top. Really pleasantly surprised with Harrisburg, with what they've got going on over there at 3-1. Newport's doing good this year at 3-1. Valley View has got a good football team. Coach Cochran and them guys are absolutely playing some offense. They've got a high potent offense. So, another team that's just looking fantastic this year is Nettleton. I've been telling everybody for several years since Coach Hampton has came on the scene that he was going to get that program right, and they seem to be clicking on all cylinders. They've got a challenge this week at Blyville. So you know, I really don't think Blyville has got the horses to stay with them this year. But you know, who knows? On any given Friday night, stranger things can happen.
For those of you who don't know, Larry is originally from the Northeast Arkansas area. He's a proud Mississippi County native, and his alma mater is the Chickasaws at Blyville High School. He spoke on something really big going on at Haley Field this Friday night as the Chickasaws welcome the undefeated Nettleton Raiders.
Everybody knows that I'm an old Blyville Chickasaw. Played at Haley Field, historic Haley Field, which is you know, a WPA project built back in the 30s. It's an old football stadium, but it had one of the best grass turf fields in the area. Well, they've kind of come on with the times here. They got a new turf field that they're going to unveil this weekend, and it looks phenomenal. So if you get a chance to go to the Blyville game, go out there and look at that new field turf that they've got on the field, and it just makes that stadium pop. It's just impressive with what some of our area schools have done with their facilities, like Osceola, Paragould, Brookland, Hoxie. You know, all of these teams that have added turf to their field have really just stepped up their facilities to the next level, and it's quite impressive. But you know, a little soft place in my own heart for my alma mater. The Blyville football field right now is just it's just a gorgeous facility, and I know the folks in Blyville are really proud of it and really excited about unveiling this product on Friday night. And you know, it may fire up them Blyville boys a little bit, and they may get into Nettleton some. So it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. But the field is just phenomenal. Great job, Blyville.
Lastly, Larry talks about this week's Tubetown Rivalry Series matchup, one that he has had circled on his calendar for a year. We did too. That's why we put it there, because over the last couple of years, it's basically been a game of the first team to 70 wins. So here is Larry's thoughts on this week's Tubetown Rivalry Series matchup, Highland at Brookland.
This week's game with Highland and Brookland is turned into a rivalry. These two teams have played each other the last 2 years and put up some monster numbers. Brookland got them 2 years ago. Highland came back and got them last year. And it's just created a rivalry that both teams have circled on their calendar, you know. And I've had this game circled for a while with the level of talent that's going to be on the field this week. The ability by Brookland to score points when they are putting things together in the right way. I don't think they'll have a problem scoring points against Highland, but I really hope they can, you know, Highland's got some kids that can go too. You know, this may not be as strong a Highland team as we've seen in the past, but they got some good talent. But they've got a guy on the offensive line and defensive line that's 6'5", 350 pounds, and big Jordan Hendricks. Jordan is a transfer in from Wisconsin, and this young man is a wrecking ball. He's an athlete, great feet, great flexibility. Understands the game and is making an impression up there. So the Brookland offensive defensive lines are going to have their hands full. It's going to be a great matchup between Riley Rainwater from Brookland and Jordan Hendricks from Highland. These two kind of went against each other in at the Blitz Combine Series this summer, and it kind of gave us a little insight to what they're going to do on the field, and it ought to be very exciting. So I look for Brookland to really come out and try to right the ship. I think they're healthy going into this game. I don't know much about Highland's health about it, but I do know Big Jordan is healthy and he's ready to play.
So Larry has had that game penciled on his schedule for a while. So have we, because we have been, and I've said this before, but the last 2 years we've been at different ball games watching that score saying, oh my God.
Yeah, video game numbers, basketball type numbers being put up by both teams. And, you know, I don't want to say we second guessed where we went, but we were kind of wishing we could be in multiple places at one time.
Well, and that happens every week. You know,
Sure,
you always,
absolutely.
There's always a game that kind of surprises you, you know.
Yeah.
And you never know it's going to turn out like that. But so we heard Larry talk about Jordan Hendricks from Highland, big boy. But Brookland has a big boy of their own clogging up the middle.
Yes,
Riley Rainwater. That's going to be a big man battle.
Definitely. That should be interesting to see how both of those big guys affect the offensive lines for their respective teams. And, I don't know if Mr. Hendricks has much college interest right now. I know for a fact that, Memphis has at least asked about Riley Rainwater, because I happened to be on campus the day Memphis showed up. So I do know that for a fact. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of role both of those guys play.
Yep. So, and not only that, not only the big guys, you got Reed Lane, Dallin O'Donohue, Devin Sloan of Brookland. I know Larry is heavily invested in all those guys as well.
Definitely. And look for Reed Lane to have, I think he's kind of the key to the Brookland offense. I think if he has a big game, Brookland could come out victorious, but I think it all kind of lends itself to laying on his legs, because he's a running quarterback, but don't forget about his arm too. He's got a good arm and could make a difference in the passing game.
Right, and you know as well as I do, he's another one of the kids that works hard in the summer. How many summer camps have we seen him at via social media and Facebook? Not only Larry's, but other camps as well. I think he did one with Eli Manning.
Yeah, I think he went down to the Manning Passing Academy, if I remember correctly. Seems like I remember seeing something about that on Facebook. So, I mean, the kid has put in work, and it's time to show that work pays off.
So, again, I peeked at Hooten's. Hooten's has Highland favored by 1.
Wow.
Now, we were surprised by the Catholic Jonesboro. When they had Catholic favored in that Jonesboro game, we were surprised by that, and they were pretty much spot on.
Yeah, I mean, you have to hand it to those guys. They've been doing this so long. They know what they're talking about, so when it comes as a shock to us and then they come back and be right, it's just a little verification for them. So
I know you've been on the campus of Brookland recently. They have something big going on there. Of course, the new field turf they got a couple of years ago, but they are actually in the process of building a brand new basketball facility about to kick off soon.
Yeah, there construction going on all over the campus. Of course, the school is one of the fastest growing schools in Northeast Arkansas, if not the entire state. There's so much improvements, upgrades being going on. The turf has just been there a couple, maybe 3 years at the most. I can't remember exactly, but I know it's fairly new. You've got the brand new basketball facility that's slated to open later this year, and actually we'll be there for the Southern Bank Classic to televise that tournament. So that'll be the first real look that everybody gets at the new basketball facility, but there's just improvements going up all over the campus. If you're a Brookland Bearcat fan, parent, alumni, whatever, it's a great time to be a Bearcat.
And I'm excited to see the new basketball facility because let's face it, although Coach Gross has done great with the basketball team, but Coach Spear has done a great job with the football team. So I pause when I say this, but Brookland is traditionally a basketball school, and they've outgrown that basketball facility by several years. So they really needed a new, nice facility to pack folks in because every time we're there, it is just that.
It's a standing room only crowd every time we've been there to televise a game, no matter who the opponent was. So I'm happy for those guys to get such a great facility on your campus. I mean, it speaks a lot for the patrons of the community that went in and said, hey, we need this. So kudos to them, and I'm ready to see it.
Yep, it's going to be exciting. So Tubetown basketball, keep an eye out for that. Got a couple of big tournaments coming up. So a lot of coverage of early season basketball this year from Tubetown. So just keep an eye on the website and social media for the unveiling of those schedules and where we're going to be and what games we're covering there. So we're lucky again, Friday night, great weather. I looked it up, it's going to be roughly about 70, sunny, clear, great night for football.
Yeah, hopefully we've seen the last of the heat. We're officially in fall now, so it's time for summer to step aside, move out of the way, let the windbreakers and the little sweatshirts and everything start coming out. We're not quite ready for that yet, but we'll be a lot closer to that this Friday night than we will be the 100 degrees that we've seen the last few games.
Yep. It is fall, so let's have fall-like weather.
Football weather.
Finally. So another shout out to the sponsors, Rob Taylor, State Farm. Ritter's going to be at the game as well.
Absolutely. We'll have our Ritter Communications tent set up right by the gate at the front entrance. Come by and see us. We've got free seat cushions that we'll hand out. And if you're a business owner, we could talk to you about maybe who supplies your business services to you, and who knows, we may even have a giveaway before the game's over. We've been known, rumor and innuendo is we've been known to give away iPads before at ball games. So come by our booth, get you a free seat cushion. We'll see about getting you signed up if we have a giveaway, which have it on pretty good authority. We may have an iPad to give away Friday night, so come by and say hi.
Ask the folks at Cooksey John Stadium 2 weeks ago whether or not we gave away an iPad. It was for sure. And the seat cushions are nice.
The seat cushions, yeah, man. I mean, they make a big difference from sitting on just, in this case, it'll be warm metal bleachers. It gets you a little cushion in there, make things a little more comfortable. But, we really want you standing up the whole game because that means it's a good, exciting game going back and forth. But take the seat cushion with you. They're free, no obligation, just our way of saying, hey, thanks for coming out to the game, and we want to be a part of the community.
So they are free, right?
Free.
Okay, because
the four-letter word that starts with an F that you can say on TV.
Good, because I took one, and I wanted to make sure that they were free. Okay, because I had to have one. But okay, so that's going to do it here. Great weather, great game. Enjoy it. Highland at Brookland, and just a big thank you to the sponsors, and of course Larry Perrin.
Absolutely, Rob Taylor, State Farm Insurance, NSR, and Larry Perrin. It's time, man. Let's line them up and let's go.
All right, let's do it. Another Tubetown rivalry game. Another bye week for us next week. Keep in mind the schedule, so we will not have a game again next week. So we apologize. Another Tubetown bye week, but enjoy this one, and then we'll see you back the following week for...
That will be Jonesboro and West Memphis.
The big one. Cannot miss that.
Back to Cooksey John's in 2 weeks. Enjoy the game tonight.